1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now let's try that again, but together. Close your eyes. No, seriously, close your eyes. Or even just count in your head, but make sure to keep it in a rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Now, what we all just did was what I was doing on repeat for 11 hours and 48 minutes. I counted to 8 over and over and over again. This is because I was swimming the English Channel from England to France. Hi, my name's Prisha Tapre, and I'm the youngest British Indian to swim across the English Channel solo. There I was, at 2 a.m., knee-deep in cold water facing France. A red hat, white goggles, black and yellow striped swimsuit. As I looked to my left, I was blinded by the bright boat light. To my right was complete darkness, and then under me was just an endless array of green-blue water. As I lifted up my arm to take the first stroke, I could feel the weight of all those who doubted me. The thing is, we grow up collecting labels just like name tags that we never asked for. Strong for a girl, ambitious, but not a leader. During the 4 years of my swim, these messages led to me downplaying my goals to fit into society and be realistic. I shrank myself. Now, the most dangerous thing about stigma is that it teaches you to build your own cage. Like a form of self-doubt, it envelops you and creates a ceiling of what you can accomplish. Over time, these messages didn't just come from outside, but they started echoing within me, where I realized these messages of hate, of doubt, they didn't put me down, but they fueled me. They motivated me to keep on swimming. Do you ever go on social media and see your friends always smiling, always happy, always living their so-called best life? Or maybe you see a classmate, a colleague, or an athlete achieving things faster or more easily than you do. And we all do it. It's completely normal. But recognizing that comparison is the first part of our mindset, and learning how to overcome it is the second part. What actually happens in our brain when we see someone else succeed is pretty fascinating. The part of our brain responsible for threat detection, the amygdala, can see someone else's success as a threat to our identity or progress. This triggers the release of cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, and also reduces activity in the prefrontal cortex. This manages logical thinking, decision-making, and long-term planning. So essentially, in simple terms, when we constantly compare ourselves, we make it harder to think straight and stay motivated. For example, in my swimming, I would catch myself thinking about other swimmers who were faster than me or did seemingly better in my coach's eyes or at competitions, and immediately my rhythm broke. I wasn't thinking about my next feed or my swim. I was stuck comparing, and this just made the swim feel heavier than it already was. Now, on to the day of my swim. I started at 2 a.m. in pitch black water. Now, let's not joke around now. 2 a.m., pitch black water, freezing cold. I was, in fact, terrified. But to my nerves, there was a sense of peace. It was like my body already knew it's going to be okay. My entire life had been swimming, and a quarter of that has just been building up to this one swim. So I told myself, no matter what happens, the next time I'll be on land will be in France. There was a moment just before I jumped in from the small lifeboat into the water when my pilot looked down at me and said, "It's all you." And I froze. More than 1,461 days training for this one swim, this one goal, the thing that woke me up in the morning, that made me cry, that made me grow in ways I can't even describe, and I paused. I said to myself once again, the next time you get out, we'll be in a different country, and I jumped. Now, I've been called Nemo many times, and I still am from time to time, But in that moment, the water felt more comforting than scary. In fact, towards the end of my swim, I vividly remember repeating, "Just keep swimming, just keep swimming." It was surprising how at home I felt in the water, considering that before this, the only other time I'd swum in the dark required bribery and being pushed in. Now, the first hour of my swim was thrilling. The boat and I were being tossed around by waves, water coming onto the boat, flooding the floor, throwing me up and down every few seconds. But I reminded myself, it's just temporary. And as soon as the sun comes up, it would be sunshines and rainbows. Also, I thought. Now, the second hour of my swim was my feed, and we aren't allowed to touch the boat and would prefer not to stop. So after 2 hours, I saw my boat and my crew frantically waving, and I knew, this is it, it's time to feed. I went on my back, I kept kicking, and I was thrown a carb-loaded drink and some of my favorite chocolates. I ate them as quickly as possible and kept on swimming. As the sun rose, the water set. The closer to France we got, the warmer the water. But warmer and calmer water meant more jellyfish coming up to the surface to enjoy it as well. Now, although I'd never been stung by a jellyfish, I'd swum alongside them, and the little rush you get when you feel something brush against your foot or you see something under you, it's like a little energy boost that makes you swim away as quickly as possible. And every time that happened, it was like I could hear my heart beating in my head. Spoiler alert, I got stung multiple times. In fact, my first ever jellyfish sting was on that day, and it actually went inside of my swimming costume. Needless to say, everyone on the boat and the jellyfish were blessed to see the horrors of that situation. As we got close to France, the jellyfish started changing colour, from smaller and clear near England to bigger and bluer near France. Now, don't get me wrong, being stung hurts, especially when it decides to explore inside of your costume. But weirdly, it gave me a jolt. It was the first time in hours that I'd felt something other than swimming. And that jolt of pain, of surprise, of wake up, it reminded me that I was still alive. And even in the middle of discomfort, I was in control. Now, the thing about the English Channel is that you can see the horizon of France. So the last hour of my swim, it went from clear to choppy. And I told myself, keep your head down, do your counting, and you'll get there. But another spoiler alert, I didn't keep my head down. The thing about France, again, you can see the horizon. So as soon as the sun rose, and around from 2 hours on, I could see the horizon of France. 4 hours on, I could see the horizon of France. 6 hours on, I could see the horizon of France. 10 hours on, I could see the same horizon of France that I'd seen 2 hours on, because the horizon just never seemed to get closer. We all have our versions of horizons, hopes, dreams, futures, ambitions that we work for day after day, stroke after stroke, hoping that we're getting closer. But here's the catch. The horizon never looks closer until suddenly you're there, and you can lose yourself chasing it too hard if you're not careful. So here's what the swim taught me. The real strength is in keeping your head down and trusting the process. Just because you can't see the progress doesn't mean it's not really happening. And more than that, it's finding moments of joy while you're still in the water. Because once you reach France, it's all over. But something else unexpected happened. There's a part of the English Channel called the separation zone. Now, this separates England to France. And the key goal was to get past the separation zone before the tide changes. And in my swim, this was around 6 hours on. As the nerves on the boat got more tense, this reflected on my swimming. I started stressing and didn't swim as hard as I could. But then something changed. The cheers got louder and I swam harder. That's when I truly realized the environment you surround yourself with is so powerful. Surround yourself with people who bring you up, not drag you down. Now, someone once told me every stroke is closer to the finish. So that on top of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just keep swimming. And a bit of what do I wear on my first day of sixth form tomorrow definitely kept me going. But once again, it wasn't just strength or stamina that kept me going during the swim. It was mental mindset. 8 mental mantras, just like the 8 strokes that we did at the start. Each 8 stroke represented one of the 8 mental mantras. Now, I repeated these over and over again until my mind was in a form of meditation. There was no thought. My mind was just an endless void. And it was as if I was watching myself from a bird's eye view looking at my swimming. And I would like to share some of those 8 mental mantras with you. Number 1, believe in yourself. Even when no one's watching, even when there's no reason to, your belief sets your limit. There have been 2 swims in my entire career that I've had to abandon, not because I wasn't ready, but because I didn't believe I could. Now, when I got out of the water, I wasn't physically exhausted. I was just mentally unprepared. Because no one is going to believe in you more than yourself. And that belief, it isn't a bonus. It's your foundation. It's the fuel. Because strength doesn't start in your body. It starts in your mind. Number 2, don't care about other people's opinions. Filter out the noise. Easier said than done, I know. But people see their own fears, and they assume they're yours too and reflect them. But their fears don't belong to you. Protect your space, protect your vision, protect your peace. Number 3, fuel your drive with meaning. Before my swim, I was told by my coach to write a list of every reason why I wanted to do it. And this list, it became my lifeline. It's what pulled me out of bed in the morning. It's what pulled me through a hard training session. It's what told me not to give up when my body said stop. It's what told me, wake up. Because motivation can fade. But purpose is what sticks. Number 4, anchor yourself to a deeper why. Motivation fades, but purpose sticks. You need to want something more than the medal, more than the applause. You need to have a deeper reason. I didn't just swim the English Channel because I wanted to. I did it because I had something to prove. Not to everyone else, but to myself. A deeper reason gives you strength that doesn't waver with the weather or the tide, but when everything feels like it's falling apart, purpose sticks. Number 5, break the limit down. If something seems too big, zoom in. I didn't wake up one day and decide to swim to a different country. I took it step by step. I started with 1K, 5K, 10K, 20K, or 2 hours, 3 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours. A year ago, I was a normal girl with a dream. Today, I stand here in front of you having achieved that dream, becoming a different person. I'm an ambassador for 2 charities, both internationally and nationally, have raised over £30,000 collectively, and I'm a world record holder. I'm now 17, a year later, and I still struggle with stress from social media, peers, future expectations, careers. But the only thing that matters is how we deal with it, because we all slip. But that's the only thing that matters. Number 6, change your perspective on failure as feedback. After a bad training session, I had 2 choices. To ask myself, what's wrong with me? Or what does this teach me? And after this change, I noticed such a big difference. I didn't fear failure anymore, but I used it. Number 7, get comfortable with discomfort. Now, there were moments in my swim where I couldn't even see ahead of me because of the waves and the darkness. But I reminded myself, pain is temporary. It doesn't live here. And discomfort just means you're pushing your edge. If you stay in an ice bath for long enough, you start to warm up. It's the same with pain. If you're in moments of pain for long enough, it starts to become the normal. And that is where the change happens. Number 8, stay in your own lane. Comparison is the thief of momentum because the only person you're comparing yourself against is you from yesterday. So here's what I want to leave you with. My stigmas, my past, my everything. It doesn't define me. But what does define me is how I got over these and overcame these labels. Because I overcame them purely by my mindset. You don't need to swim the English Channel, but you do need to swim your version of it. Whether it's starting something new, getting out of your comfort zone, or leaving something behind, just know this. Your challenge is real, your voice is valid, and your strength, it's already inside of you. Push yourself, not to break yourself, but to meet yourself. Because on the other side of fear, it's the real you. It's freedom. And that is always worth fighting for. Thank you.